Hi parents, my name is David Jakes. I am the orchestra teacher here at Coronado, Bridges, and Power Ranch elementary schools, all three of them. I'm excited that you have found this video. If you're watching this video, there's probably two reasons. One, your kid is already signed up for my class, and awesome, this is your intro parent video. The other one, too, is hopefully, even if your kid is not in orchestra or band, or even if you have no idea what band or orchestra is, hopefully you're still seeing this video now so that you can learn. It's a cool opportunity for your 5th and 6th grade student, and I really want to encourage them to check us out. Quick rundown of what this class is. This class happens during your specials time. So when we come back to school and we get back to normal, instead of going to PE and art and media center and music, instead of going to those 4 specials once a week, your kid will be coming to me, orchestra, every day. Awesome, right? We get a lot better that way. Sure, you don't get to run around on the baseball field or make a macaroni pencil holder, but we're going to really work on these highly difficult skills to make us amazing violin, cello, viola players. If they're the kind that's driven to do one thing really well instead of wanting all of those different opportunities, a place like band or orchestra is really good for those kids, and it does great things for them long term. I could do a 30-minute video all about the benefits of this stuff. Maybe I will later, but I don't want to bore you with that right now. So all I'm saying is give music a chance. Sign up for band or orchestra. I want to real quick go over the 4 things that, at least during this remote learning stuff, parents are going to have to really be, the home teacher. So 4 things real quick that I want you to understand that you as a parent are going to have to put some effort into if you want your kid to be part of this awesome thing. 1, I want to tell you my goal this year is to introduce and implement the idea of a flipped classroom. A flipped classroom is becoming more and more popular in the secondary levels, middle school and high school. The key goal of it is that the learning happens at home and the practice happens during school. In a traditional setting, the learning happens at school and we send you home to practice. I've been teaching band or orchestra classes for almost 10 years now, and the number one problem is that second part doesn't happen. Kids learn in school and then they go home and not practice. And you can't learn an instrument that way. It's not going to work. So my goal, even once we come back, this is not just a remote learning thing. This is the new normal for Mr. Jakes and orchestra, is a flipped classroom. Students will have class time in school or during the, scheduled time that the school has had. That is their practice time. And I, as the teacher, am here to guide those practices and make sure they're practicing correctly. Each week or with each unit, I will also have a pre-recorded video that actually teaches that stuff. So for remote learning, it's simple. You watch the video, learn it on your own, and then during these practice sessions on Microsoft Teams, that's where we practice it, and I can make sure you're practicing correctly. Under a traditional system, the kids will learn here at school, then go home and practice. If they practice, 1, they don't practice anymore. It's not what we do. Two, if they do practice, they might be practicing wrong. We are very picky about little details about how we hold our bow. And if they go home and practice with a bow hold like this, they can practice wrong 3 hours a day, and it's going to make them worse. So I will be here watching the practice sessions, making sure that that technique is staying good. So we're learning on our own, and we have guided practice rather than guided learning with practice on our own. So that's the big overview of the year. Brings us into 2. What is your role as the parent? I have 3 things listed here. We have to mandate practice consistently, we have to lie to them, and we have to tune their instrument. What do I mean by all 3 of those things? During the remote learning, mandating a consistent practice schedule is going to be super easy because they already have a practice schedule. During those designated times, 5th grade here and 6th grade here, during those times, they'll log on to the practice room, and that's their practice for the day. 30 minutes of practice a day, 4 days a week, is definitely enough to be successful in this class and probably in middle school, probably in high school. Easy. They just have to be there, practicing, doing what they do. The second thing here is to lie to them. They're going to sound bad. They're learning a very difficult instrument, especially the violins. Are really high-pitched. They're squeaky. My best students sound not good for, at least a year or so. You gotta lie to them, You hear them play something and it doesn't sound good, oh, great, that sounded great. You're really learning. Sounds like you're getting better. The tone is getting louder. The tone's getting fuller. It sounds like your fingers are staying in the right spot. They're not. They sound awful, and they're squeaking all over the place, and the rhythm isn't correct. But praise them. They need it because they know they sound bad. They have ears. Cool. But yeah, motivate them. And the third thing, probably the most important thing, at least while we're doing remote learning, is you're going to have to tune their instrument for them. Tuning's not easy. We usually don't teach students to tune their own instrument for at least the first 2 years. This year, we're starting off with how to tune your instrument, and it's scary because instruments will probably break, strings will break, pegs will slip. It's going to get frustrating. It's harder than tuning a guitar. If you've ever tuned a guitar anymore, those pegs move really smooth because they're mechanical. There's gears in there to make them work. Violin, viola, cello, the peg is wedged into a wooden hole, and it's got to line up right, and it's got to be just right, and it's a pain. But I'm going to teach you, the parent, how to tune an instrument. Hopefully it goes over well. I'm also going to give you some tips of what to do right before you throw that violin out the window in frustration. There's some things you can do, places you can go that can help you get it in tune. So I'll tell you all about those too. But that's your role as a parent. You've got to help really force the practicing. You've got to lie to them, tell them that they sound great, even though they sound awful. And do your best to keep their instrument in tune. Cool? All right, the third thing that you need to know as an orchestra parent is all about getting an instrument, what instruments are worth, what instruments are good, what instruments are bad, what instruments the school has to offer. I wrote down 6 points here. I'm just going to say all 6 points. 1, no Amazon. Instruments from Amazon are bad. You might find an instrument on Amazon for $3,000 and think, well, how could that instrument be bad? It's probably because that instrument is worth about $500. You might see an instrument on Amazon for $300. $300 is not a bad price to pay for a new violin at a music store. On Amazon, it means you're getting like a $100 violin. You will see Amazon violins for under $100. They're just firewood. They're horrible. They won't stay in tune. They sound bad. They're gonna make your kid cry at some point. If you pay less than $300 for an Amazon violin, you will make your child cry. I promise. So, let's go on to option 2. Really, not Amazon. Option 2 is still don't buy an instrument on Amazon. All right? 3. It's like not online at all. Like Facebook Marketplace might have a really good deal. Somebody's selling a used, professional quality violin for a good price. Still don't do it. Violins come in different sizes. Violas, different sizes. Cellos, different sizes. You might not notice this, but your kid is small. That means they can't play on a full-size instrument. Go ahead and look at Facebook Marketplace right now. Everything they're selling is full-size instruments. Do you know why? Let me tell you why. Because somebody went and bought an Amazon violin. Everything on Amazon is full-size. They went and bought an Amazon violin and realized it was garbage, and now they have to sell it. So they sell it on Facebook. Don't buy them, because it's really just an Amazon violin. Cool? All right. 4 is a music store. This is by far your best option to get an instrument. You've got to realize that, 1, instruments are expensive. Like, if you don't have a ton of money to throw around, you don't want to be buying an instrument. They're just too expensive. Your kid's probably going to play it for a year or 2. They might play it in middle school. Once they go on to middle school, maybe get them an instrument or something. But they're expensive, and don't buy one. Just don't. Rent one. Music stores have very fair deals on instruments. Violins and violas are usually $20-25 a month. Cellos are usually $30 maybe a month. They're a little more expensive because they're bigger. But look, if you got a violin and you're paying $25 a month, you're using it for 8 months of the school year, that's $200. When a good violin costs $500 or $600, you're gonna be glad that you spent $200 on renting a violin instead of $500 on buying one, because you're not going to be able to use that violin next year. Remember the different sizes? Your kid is small right now. They're not going to be small next year. They might be playing on a half size in 5th grade. They're going to need a 3/4 size in 6th grade. If they're a quick grower, you might be ready for a full size in middle school. But please, I'm begging you, just don't buy one. Just go rent one from a store. I have a thing I'll post about a store that I don't recommend. I'm not allowed to recommend stores, so I don't recommend this store. A 5 under getting an instrument. It says no colors. Your violin is not supposed to be green. It's not supposed to be blue, pink, purple, white, red, orange. It could be orange because some wood tone is orange. But please don't buy a colored violin. It's actually already covered under 1. That's an Amazon violin. You won't walk into a real music store and see a colored violin hanging on the wall. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. If you walk into a real music store and you see a colored violin hanging on the wall, just turn around and take your business somewhere else. Because that violin is going to make a kid cry at some point. I promise you. If you buy it, it's going to make your kid cry. If somebody else buys it, it's going to make their kid cry. I don't want to support a music store that sells an instrument that's going to make a kid cry later. All right? Just kidding. Every instrument that your kid tries to play is going to make them cry at some point. True fact. 6, school instruments. We do have some school instruments that we offer for families in more financial need. They are cheaper than what you're going to find at a store. They're also 20-year-old school instruments, so they come with that too. If you need it, let me know. I can hook you up. There is a cost. I don't want to mention too much about it here because I want to push people to go to a store. It's more expensive to rent an instrument, but almost every store that I know of has a very good insurance kind of thing that you're going to want, because I've seen a lot of terrible things happen, especially to cellos. Oh my gosh, if you're a cello player, get the insurance, please. School doesn't offer it though, so like if you get a school instrument and your kid smashes it, you're out of luck. Cool, so yeah, go to a store and get an instrument. 4, the performance. If we get back to school, there's going to be, a regular band and orchestra performance. If not, there's going to be something online. I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about orchestra. I'm sure it probably caused more questions than it answered, but there's good news. If you have questions, just keep scrolling down to that Sign Up Genius link. And tomorrow, Friday, the 20-whatevereth, I don't know dates anymore, but Friday will be I guess it's the Meet the Teacher type thing. Sign up for a time. It'll get you into our little practice room area where you can ask away all of your questions you might have. That's going to be open to people registered for the class and not registered for the class. So even if you're not signed up yet, stop in if you got any questions and we'll get you going. Have a great afternoon or evening or whatever this is. We'll see you whenever we see you. Bye.